Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back. Welcome back to the 95 North Sports Machine. I'm Chris Tipmore, and of course, you already know next to me is my right hand man, my brother, Smooth Smitty 10K. Should be 11K, man. Y'all stop playing to help my boy out to get there, man. But today we have a special show today, and we're welcoming back a special guest. I'm talking about author, motivational speaker, podcaster, and of course, Atlanta Hawks play-by-play announcer, Mr. Bob Rathbun.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Let's get this thing rolling. Bob, how you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you all?
Hey,
We doing all right,
everything's a
man.
great
Doing all
day.
right.
Good to see you. Good to be back with you.
Yes, sir.
If I
How
had
have you been?
if I had some hair, I'd scratch it out right now, but I'll let that go for another day.
I understand that.
How you been? How you been, Bob?
Good, good. You know, we're making that transition from last season to this season.
There you
Now
go.
summer camp's over, and now it's just I think a few more roster tweaks. If I read the tea leaves correctly, made one yesterday with David Roddy
Right.
coming aboard from Phoenix. So I think we're getting a little closer to what the roster is going to look like when we hit training camp in October.
Indeed, indeed. And we haven't spoke since before the draft. So, but first and foremost, can we give a shout out to the fans that attended State Farm Arena's draft party? Because I attended, and man, it was electric. People were showed up, and the stage was cool. Everything looked nice, man. It was definitely different from any draft party in past years. How was your experience, with this year's draft party?
Oh, I thought it was fantastic to see over 10,000 fans come downtown, and having the number one pick was so exciting. First time in the history of our franchise that we've had the number one pick, as you know. And to control the draft was a unique experience. And I think we got a great player out of it.
Right.
But the party was great. If there's one thing we can do right, nobody in the league can touch us when it comes to having a basketball party. The arena, the fans, the atmosphere, it was really, really good. And I think everybody had a really good time.
Indeed, indeed. And you just spoke about the number one pick. I just want to know what was your initial thoughts to when we announced Zaccharie Risacher to the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, I thought we got the best guy. I really did.
Okay.
I watched pretty much every workout of the top guys when they came through, and I thought by far he was the best guy we brought in. Now, some guys didn't show. Sarr didn't come. Steph Castle didn't come. But of the guys that we brought in, I thought Zach Risacher was by far the best guy. From the waist down, he's already got a pro body. He'll develop up here. He's just a 19-year-old kid.
Indeed.
I love the way he can get over screens, move his feet. He's got really good defensive instincts. I think initially probably a 3-and-D kind of guy. Not sure at this stage of his career he's a guy that can create his own shot, but that will come. He's got the size. He's got the work ethic, the determination. I'm totally pleased with our pick. I think he's going to be a good Hawk for a long time.
Indeed, indeed.
Amen. And now that we've gotten that out the way, how do you think he fits with Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, and these other young stars with the Atlanta Hawks?
Well, it's going to be up to them to make this growth. I was telling a lot of people at the draft and prior to that whoever we took number one is not going to be a changer for the franchise. There's no Wembanyama in this draft. There's no Cooper Flagg in this draft. He'll come along next year. But this is a solid piece, and both of them. I think Nico, once he gets back from that foot injury,
yes,
I think he's going to be a good piece too. Jurčić is he's got a little edge to him. He likes to play. So there's two good young players that we're going to mix into the fold. But for us to improve, I think the number one thing, guys, is we've got to stay healthy.
Amen.
These guys like Trae and Hunter and Okongwu and Capella, Bogey, those are the guys that are going to carry the day. this is the first time Trey's ever had an injury in his life.
Wow.
So for to him to go down with that finger injury and miss 28 games, he's never missed 28 games, I don't think, since he was 5 years old. So that's sort of uncharted territory. Hunter was hurt. Jalen Johnson was injured 3 different times. So I think if we can have a reasonable health, I think that will be one of the biggest things in our favor. But whatever we do, it's going to rest on the shoulders of Trey and the rest of the guys who have been here to make this thing work. I think healthy, we'll be in the playoff mix for sure.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we can stay healthy. Yeah, we could definitely have some pieces. And speaking about those pieces and how we got them, DeJounte Murray was indeed traded for Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance, EJ Lindell, and 2 first-round picks, one 2025 from the Lakers and 2027 least favorable from the Bucks and the Pelicans. And I'm not going to lie to you, Bob. I'm going to keep it all the way real with you. I talked to Atlanta Hawks fans and I listened to them. Atlanta Hawks fans, it's some fans out there that are fearful that this move right here is a rebuild move. But what would be your comments to thoughts like that?
Yeah, I would not agree with that.
Okay.
Because we don't control our picks. If you wanted to rebuild, you have to do it with your draft picks, meaning your first round picks, because the whole purpose of tanking is to get a high lottery pick. Well, it does us no good to tank if San Antonio is going to get our number 1 pick, which they will have next year.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with a rebuild, just tear it down. But we've got to build up through what we have. And that's what I was mentioning just a minute ago. I think if these guys return to health and play well, then we'll be pretty good. I think the Laker pick that we got is very intriguing. If LeBron goes down or Anthony Davis goes down, they're not going to be very good. And I think that pick could be very valuable. That's unprotected. That pick is unprotected. So wherever it falls, we get it.
That's right.
And maybe we'll get lucky in what looks to be a pretty deep draft at the top next year. And we might be able to steal another piece, despite the fact that our number 1 pick is going to go to the Spurs. So I think we kind of rebuilt the draft chest a bit, trading DeJounte. I thought we got back, just talking between us, I think we probably got back about 85% of what we gave out to the Spurs.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, it wasn't going to work with he and Trey. So they made the best move that they could make that was available to them. And I thought it kind of had to be done. I was always holding out hope that they would find a way to get it done between them. But, the bosses decided that it wasn't working and it wasn't going to work. And so they decided to make that trade. But he will be missed. I mean, he's a quality point guard. He'll do very well in New Orleans, I think.
Agree. What we got from New Orleans and Dyson Daniels, what I've been seeing with him, a Team Australia, he's been playing solid defense. And he's even putting up points. How do you think he fits in with Trae Young in that backcourt? Will he start over Bogey or another veteran?
Yeah, too soon to tell on that, but I think Dyson's going to play a lot as we speak this morning. He had a great game today in the first round of the Olympics in pool play as Australia won their game. I think he went 3 for 4 on threes. Really looked good. I just got done watching some of the clips from that game. So he's an impressive kid. Shooting has always been the knock on him, but he's only 21 years old, and our guys haven't gotten their hands on him yet. The one thing about our coaching staff is that we can develop shooters. I think we talked previously about the success that Quinn and the staff have had. We had, I think, 7 guys last year post personal bests and made threes. So Dyson, I think, is going to to really benefit from this coaching staff. Not that that's no knock on the New Orleans staff. I just think he's such a young guy at 21. He's got a lot of room to grow, and he'll get that opportunity. But he brings a great defensive presence. Is something we need. So I think he'll find his share of playing time. Bogey, to me, is a guy that probably should have won Sixth Man of the Year last year, and I'm not sure why he wasn't considered more strongly. He was outstanding. I mean, he had the best year of his career. But he's also not a heavy minutes guy at this stage of his career. He's turned 30 and kind of a sparking knee from time to time. It wouldn't surprise me to see them split the minutes down ultimately. So, I think we're pretty good shape, despite the fact, we don't have DeJounte anymore. Bogey will slide in. You got Daniels. You got probably Risacher as a 2-3 would be my guess. So I think we'll be okay. If you're going to have a ball dominant point guard like Trey, then you need to have off of him guys who don't need the basketball. Bogey's a great catch and shoot guy. Dyson's certainly not at this stage of his career, and Risacher is just learning as he goes along. So, they're all, Bogey's not a good defender anymore, but the other two guys are, and I think it'll work pretty well on the depth chart.
Yeah, hey, that's the job for our head coach, the guy that we gave a 5-year deal. When Snyder to figure out. Hey, Bob, man, you know what you're talking about too, though. But with Dyson Daniels, man, it was intriguing to me because I know a lot of people, like you said, knocking on his shooting. Man, I believe that they wanted to move a little bit forward with Trey Murphy as well. But Dyson Daniels, like you just said, our guys haven't even got their hands on him yet, and he's still putting in work for his country as in Australia. I believe Dyson Daniels has the potential to be a nice piece on both ends for the Atlanta Hawks and giving Trae Young a different option. I know it still remains to be seen, but I said earlier this offseason that I can see Dyson Daniels being in the starting lineup next to Trae Young for what you just said about him being ball dominant. You can have somebody that also helps Trae on the defensive end and can possibly go after some of those best players. Being so young, being still just not necessarily raw, but he's has potential and he's growing. And I'm excited about Dyson Daniels. Going to miss DeJounte, but it is what it is. And I believe that it's not a rebuild. I just think they're building a new foundation under the new head coach, Quinn Snyder, and making it more favorable to him and his liking, and on defensive schemes as well too. And real quick about the draft picks too, if I'm not mistaken, in a different situation, it could be the Lakers pick, and we could still some kind of way get that Kings pick as well, correct?
Oh yeah, I think if Sacramento's a playoff team, it's only top 12 protected. So if they come in, 8, in the West, something like that, which they probably will, getting DeMar DeRozan, I think, is going to lift them up, be a better ball club than they were a year ago. And that's about where they were last season. So not a huge jump for Sacramento. As long as they're not in the top 12, we get that pick. So that's another body that we'll have coming our way. So I think we got a great chance to get both. I mean, obviously, we're going to the Laker pick regardless, but to get that Sacramento pick would be huge. Think that we didn't have a first-round pick for basically 3 years, and to have 2 picks in a very good draft, I think is really going to help the Hawks' future.
Indeed, and that's my whole point. That's my whole point, Bob. Just that I know we have to depend on other teams to basically either do good and not possibly do good, but it's the NBA. It can happen at any given time. So that would be great for the Atlanta Hawks.
Well, and the Lakers were not very good last year. Yeah. I mean, let's remember this is not a very good team. Now, they played Denver great, obviously, in the first round, but over the long haul of 82 games, if either of those guys get hurt, and of course Davis is injury prone, LeBron's going to be 40. if any of those guys get hurt, I think and a rookie head coach, I think they could really be in some trouble. So that would enhance our pick.
Indeed. Indeed. And I know you were speaking about Jurkic, I know he's being out until November. It seems like in summer league, the Hawks really were trying to see what he had. He played a lot of minutes, and he's definitely going to be in the plans moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
But go back to our number one pick, Zaccharie Risacher. I know he was dealing with the quad. They really, held him out pretty much after that. But his first game, his debut game, we seen some things and I actually think he does have that ability to grow and develop that, creating his own shot, because he does have like a little move to where, he's crossing the guy and he likes to step back into the three. It seems like he likes that move, and he's probably going to be working on that to create a shot that way. But what was your thoughts just about that summer league game? Because I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, it's Chris, it's basic. I mean, summer league is basically an organized practice.
Indeed.
There's no. Everybody gets hung up on the points, and you remember what they did to Trey. Remember he airballed his first three in Salt Lake City.
He did,
and everybody that was a detractor said, draft bust. This guy. That's like, will you give me a break? So that said, the thing about Risacher, and you really did nail it, is the improvement factor.
Mm-hmm.
As an 18-year-old, 2 years ago, he wasn't on anybody's radar for the draft. Nobody. Mm-hmm. And after 1 year, he made dramatic improvement. So much so, we took him as the number one pick in the draft. So to go from an 18-year-old to a 19-year-old and make that kind of adjustment and improvement, I think speaks volumes of what he'll do once he's in the Hawks system and in the NBA. I think he's, you hate to say unlimited potential, but it really is for him, because when he learns the game and gets bigger and stronger, I think we'll look back on this as a very favorable draft pick. Is he going to be a perennial all-star? I don't know about that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how you can say that about anybody really at age 19. But I think he's going to be a good player for us. Certainly a rotational player and probably a starter in the not too distant future. But I like him. I think Hawks fans are going to like him. He's a hard worker. He's a great kid. I mean, a great kid, and loves to learn, loves to play. He'll be just fine.
Oh yeah,
and we've talked about the backcourt. Let's look at the front court. Do you think the Hawks are putting all their chips in on Capella and on Yeko Okongwu now that we see that they didn't go after another big man? Do you think they have?
Yeah, I do. And to be honest with you, Smitty, I don't think that they could do better than Clint Capella. I have never understood all summer what is the purpose of trading Clint Capella if your stated goal is to win and get in the playoffs. Now obviously he's on the last year of his contract, and that makes him very attractive to other teams for cap purposes. But still,
yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to win, what's wrong with Clint Capella? I know the fans lose their minds when he misses layups and all that stuff.
Yes.
I understand all that, but you're trying to get better defensively. That's the one thing we have to do is get better defensively. Why do you want to lose him? He's the quarterback of that backline defense. So I'm a Capella fan. He can still rebound with the best of them. He's uncanny. He led the league in offensive rebounds last year. I mean, these guys just don't walk through the door. You got a great center. I keep him. We got to get Onyeka healthy. But I'm a little concerned about the toe that's been flaring up. So let's see how he is when he gets back to start camp. But I think we're in pretty good shape. That's the one position we got a lot of bodies, and that'll sort itself out. I don't know. I can't imagine we're going to go to camp with 5 centers. But Nance is a guy that movable if the right trade came about, or he would be a great backup, no question.
Yeah.
I don't know that Cody Zeller will be around. I don't know. I don't get a feeling
Nah.
I don't know what the deal is with him. He was included just to make the trade work monetarily. I don't know that they traded to get him to play him. And then, of course, they've got until the 31st to figure out what they're going to do with Bruno. If he's on the roster on August 1st, his contract's guaranteed. So I would think they're going to make some sort of deal with Bruno in the next 3 days. So that's the 5 guys right now at that 5 spot, and that's too many, to be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Agreed.
I think with Capella too, Bob, people, like you said, you already really touched on a few points. The fact that, he misses bunnies, and, sometimes, he looks a little funny out there. But the thing about it is too, I think Hawks fans want to see about possibly moving that contract because, like you just said, about for cap space, and also to possibly try to get younger at center. But honestly, I don't think it was any moves for the Atlanta Hawks to make because it takes 2 to tango, make a deal. Sometimes takes 3 to make a trade. And if no one else wants to, come to terms to what you're asking for, how can you make a trade anyway? Even if you wanted to behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah, it does. And you found out, look how hard it was to trade DeJounte. There was so much talk about us trading with New Orleans at the deadline, and nothing came to pass. Trades are hard to make in the NBA these days, mainly because I think teams are so frightened of that second apron that really does handcuff you in terms of making future moves. And they want to stay away from that. And the Hawks haven't even been a tax team these last several years. So the trading aspect of it is very complicated. Is Capella 30 years old? I don't think he is.
If he's 29
he's getting close. He's like 29.
Yeah, he's 29.
He's still a relatively young man for as much as he's played in this league at his position. He's still a great rebounder and a great defender. So I'm very comfortable. I'm a Capella fan. I like him. I think he does great things for us. He's been a great Hawk while he's been here, relatively healthy. I'm cool with that.
Right.
Go ahead. What do you think as GM Landry Fields and head coach Quinn Snyder, what do you think? How do you think they're meshing as far as GM and coach right now?
Excellent. I thought they worked so well together this summer. Getting that number 1 pick was just a bolt out of the blue. Nobody expected that to happen. And then once that did happen, we saw a tremendous united effort from the coaching staff and from the front office to really buckle down and get all kinds of input and make that number 1 pick something that is going to help us for a long time. We've never had the position of controlling the draft before. And I thought they handled it superbly. I'm the Hawks guy for sure. But if I wasn't in this job, I saw these workouts with my own lion eyes. I mean, these guys, the cats we brought in, Risacher was the best guy we brought in. No question. Now, are some other guys in the draft going to be great down the road? Probably. That's the way this thing works. Jokic was a second-round pick. Giannis was a 15th pick. Brunson was a second-round pick. You never quite know how it's all going to work out. If you did, nobody'd ever make a mistake.
Indeed.
But that's the speculation part of this. But based on what we saw on tape, the guys went over to see him in a playoff game. Zach played 72 games last year as a 19-year-old, professional games against grown men, and did very well. A highly regarded prospect. So I think we got a good player, and I thought the marriage between the front office and the coaching staff was superb. They're great, and they did a really, really good job. We got 2 good players. I mean, we really did, and that's what you want. That's what you want out of the draft.
Indeed, indeed. You got guys who can also attack the basket as well. In Risacher, you seen his first basket was a nice left hand layup over the
Uh-huh.
defender. So he has ability, and with him, Dyson Daniels, us with our youth, you're putting shooters and you're putting guys who can penetrate around Trey. And I believe Trey can possibly have a field day because one of the best things that I feel Trey can do is pass. That's one of his best
Oh yeah,
abilities, and
it's his best
and
ability.
yeah, and honestly, he's probably the best passer to me in the league. I know some other guys that may be like, what? But I'm just saying at what he does at his size, and sometimes he sees guys that you be like, how did he see him at his height? What I'm saying, at his size, how
Right.
did he make that play? So honestly, I believe that Trey Young is kind of going to go back to the old play. What I'm saying, the guy who's telling everybody to be quiet and
Right.
the
Right.
real, the shimmies and everything. I believe Trey is going to go back to some of his old ways as that, but he's going to be more mature with it, and kind of like hone in it on a little bit better, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
No, I agree with you, and I think the pressure's on him to be that kind of player. He reads everything. He knows what everybody said about him. But the one guy that we haven't talked about is Jalen Johnson.
Yes, sir. It was on the way.
This guy is a rising star.
Yeah.
He's got some consistency issues to work out for sure. But what we saw, my God, this guy is ready to be a next level player, knocking on that door of being elite. And what a great piece to have.
Indeed.
Get Hunter back to where he was defensively and offensively, and playing major minutes and being that wing defender to help out. So we still got some great young talent on this team, and I'm excited about it.
And you talk about talent, we've talked about the entire roster now. This offseason, what grade would you get a front office if you had to give them a grade as to how far they've done this offseason?
Well, I would give them an A. I thought they nailed the draft.
Okay.
Here's the thing about draft grades, and you'll see this. The Hawks got a B, they got a B minus, all that nonsense. Here, the reason that the Hawks scores will be low, okay, it's because Risacher is not a flashy player. He's just going to go out there and do his thing, learn, be solid, play defense, make shot. He's not going to wow you with this great, Americanization talent. This is a kid who from France. I think we've seen how French players have done recently. I think they've done pretty well.
Doing pretty good.
So I think, the draft grades are lower just because the American basketball media doesn't know what they're watching. But this guy, I would give him an A for the team, Smitty, in the offseason because of they felt like it could not go on with DeJounte and Trey. Okay.
Yeah.
So in making that decision, in trading DeJounte, look what we got back. The cupboard was empty on draft picks. So now we have 2 first rounders. We got a great young player in Daniels. We've got, E.J. Liddell, who they flipped yesterday for David Roddy. So another big to come into that front line. With the 2 picks and that trade, I'd have to give him an A. I think it's done well. Now, the proof obviously is going to be in the pudding, right? To win with this group. But, I think from a depth standpoint, from targeting defensive players to help us, because we got to get better defensively, I thought they came through and did pretty darn well. Don't y'all?
And it was, I see with the defensive moves, I see Quinn Snyder putting more of a Quinn Snyder blueprint on this team.
There you go.
Someone that he's comfortable coaching.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, indeed. And then we talked about this before we got to this point too, Bob. Last time we spoke, we said one thing we had to do was get better defensively, and that is something that the Hawks did try to go and do. Dyson Daniels has a high defensive rate. even Larry Nance in limited minutes, what I believe about 17 to 19 minutes, did well on defense.
Yep.
Yes. So that's something that we were doing. That's why I also said earlier, I believe we're building a new foundation. You know what I'm saying? And you got to make Atlanta an attractive place that people want to play and people want to see and win. And these are different steps that you have to make. And to your point about Jalen Johnson, as we was moving toward him anyway, shoot, man, every great player needs that second guy that goes with them. Shoot, Michael needed Scotty, and Trey possibly needs Jalen Johnson. As long as Jalen Johnson can stay healthy, I believe we have a monster year loading for Hawks fans for Jalen Johnson.
I agree with you. What a gift from God he turned out to be. Nobody saw that coming, and just exploded on the scene. He's a great kid, hard worker. We got to get this ankle thing straight.
Yes.
3 ankle injuries in a 8-week time frame.
Man.
It was frightening last year.
Not good.
But I think we're going to be okay with him. And if that's the case, then I think his career is just going to skyrocket.
Well, Bob, if you let him hold a pair of your kicks, you know what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure those ankles will be fine.
Got to go to the high tops. Got to go to the high tops. Go old school.
Man. Yeah, man. Let them know, man.
Wear those ankle braces. It'll look like hell, but your ankles will be fine.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a question. If let's say the roster hypothetically is finalized and, so we're going to have the talent that we have. If you could give me a starting lineup for the Atlanta Hawks in 2024-25, what would it be? Who would be in that starting lineup?
Trey, Bogey, Hunter, Jalen, and Capella.
Okay. Now, can you explain that?
Well, I mean, Trey's going to start.
Of course.
Bogey, why wouldn't you? I mean, this guy's coming off his best year of his career. An excellent three-point shooter, as we all know. Hunter is your best wing defender, arguably. Until I see everybody. He's your best wing defender. Another great three-point shooter that we need to get more shots for. Health is a big concern. Then you've got Jalen. We just talked about him, and Capella to anchor the defense at the 5. But we're probably 2 deep all the way around. Sometimes 3 deep. Which, Bogey and Clint don't have to play big minutes. That's a positive, I think. You're going to have Kobe backing up Trey. We haven't really seen much of him because of the injuries, but I think Buffett is a more than adequate backup point guard. We've talked about Risacher. He's going to be in the rotation, I'm sure, as he learns, as he grows in his rookie season. You've got Garrison Matthews is re-signed as a sniper. He had the best shooting. He had the best 3-point shooting percentage of anybody in the Eastern Conference last season. People don't talk about that. So we've got some pretty good depth. I think we're going to be in good shape.
Yeah. I wonder if Keon Wallace is going to get any kind of run.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I liked him in summer league.
And if you went down to College Park to watch him last year, he was pretty impressive. Got a 2-way contract. I think he's going to be he's going to be probably take that Trent Forrest spot. Would be my guess. But boy, what a good player.
It's funny. I wasn't expecting Trent Forrest back anyway, just because of who his agent is. But that's neither here or there. We're not gonna dwell on that there. But yeah, okay. So Bob, hear me out. I'm gonna try to see. I'm gonna preach it to you, and I'm gonna see what you think about it.
Okay.
I want to bring Bogey off the bench. Why? Because of the year that he had last year. You just said it yourself. He had career numbers. You can also limit his minutes a little bit, keep him more fresher as the year is going on. You have a 21-year-old kid who's ready to get after it, who you just traded for. You got to see what he brings. Honestly, I wouldn't mind starting Dyson Daniels next to Trey. and letting him, work in the minutes, use some of his youth, preserve Bogey and allow Bogey to flourish in that role like how he did last year coming off of the bench. And, let him preserve him a little longer, especially if we're trying to make a playoff push. And I like the Hunter because I don't think you start Risacher initially if he makes steps and strides toward the end of the season to where you can't, you can't keep the guy at the starting lineup, then so be it. But I think you bring him on along, kind of slowly let him get acclimated to the game. And then, you'll see where you go forward. But yes, let Hunter start. I know he did better off the bench last year too. And eventually you probably going to get him there. But I don't think you have Risacher and Daniels in the lineup. And if you do start Bogey, then I don't see how you keep Risacher on the bench. But my whole thing was Trey, Dyson Daniels, DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, and Clint Capella.
Yeah, I and that's what preseason's for, right?
Right.
You get a whole month to take a look at the combinations and see who fits best together. I got no problem bringing Bogey off the bench. That's a lot to put on Daniels right away to jump him right into the starting lineup, but that's okay. We can live with that. And Zach is going to get minutes. I'm not sure how many and where. He's probably more of a 2 right now than a 3.
I can see that.
So we'll see. But this is what October's for.
Right.
I think it's very exciting. The guys will be back here in a month. Basically, the Tuesday after Labor Day is when everybody's back in the gym.
Right.
Bogey probably won't be here till late because of the Olympics, and Daniels probably won't be right away for the same reason. But once we get everybody back and they start to cook, before the formal practices begin, then we'll start to get some answers about the best way to fit the pieces together.
Indeed. Well, Bob, thank you so very much for coming by, and giving us time out of your Saturday.
There is nothing better than talking hoop on a Saturday morning in August, late July. This is great.
Yes, sir.
We'll definitely have you back on once the season starts, right before the season starts, to get your thoughts on going into the season. Oh, yeah. We're going to have a lot of fun.
I got to be with my guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for always coming on. And I want to know, man, Bob, who I need to pay to get me a media pass down there, man. I don't contact the PR department. Well, don't nobody, everybody calling me ugly. Nobody won't hit me back. I don't understand what's going on.
Man, I don't know. We got to work on that.
Yeah, we got to work on that, man. Yes, sir. But Bob, thank you so very much. Guys. Again, motivational speaker, author, podcaster, and of course, the play-by-play announcer for our Atlanta Hawks, Mr. Bob Rathbun. Thank you again, sir.
You got it, guys. Great to be with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was that you seen who that was, man. That's the man right there. How could you not love Bob Rathbun, man?
It's always a kick talking to Bob, man. Bob will keep it real with you 100% of the time. So if I go to some Hawks games, try to meet him in person, and
got to.
I know it's a great conversation, man. Because one thing about Bob, he's been around a long time. We always talk about the Dominique Wilkins trade. He lived through it. So trust me. Woo, man, this has been another great show, man. This is Atlanta Hawks basketball. As he said, man, it's on the rise. We have promising stars and Jalen Johnson and Risacher, and we have a all-star point guard in Trae Young. So can we take that next step? We will see. But
get on the floor.
Before we get out of here, man, we got to thank the people in the chat. DeAndre Trice, our boy Big John Higgins, Stephanie Houston, Robert Blackman, Smart Ride, AJ Evans, J Black 142, Mike, Winston Thornton, and y'all go check him out on the eye test. He's on Facebook, he's on YouTube under the eye test. So y'all please go check him out. Clock 5 White. He says a lot of size around Young that can play multiple positions, and versatility is something that you have to have in today's game, no matter if it's football, basketball, or baseball. Versatility is key because guess what? injuries are gonna come, and you're gonna always have to have someone to fill in at a certain position.
Indeed.
So
I'm talking about you got to. No, see, I'm just saying you got to, man.
Go ahead.
No, just say, yeah, you got to have this size, man. It's a new foundation. It's not necessarily a rebuild. Just like you heard Bob say, man, you heard it from the man that's closest to the Hawks that we can get right now. And shoot, man, I trust in what he's saying. I trust in what the Hawks are going to do. I mean, I have to. One thing about it, I'm a Hawks fan, and then plus, you got to put the product on the floor to see what happens first. So let's just see what happens, and we'll definitely be touching back in with Bob during the season, before the season as well. So seems like so that's going to be a regular for the old 95 North Sports Machine.
And then speaking of 95 North Sports Machine, man, y'all continue to stay tuned to all of our channels. That's me, Smitty Sports Machine, my boy A1 Forever, and my boy Berto, Mr. 95 North himself, at the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. We're going to be merging in one big channel, and that's the 95 North Sports Machine, man. We're going to keep bringing y'all slamming content. And, hey, special guests going to keep coming. So, hey, y'all just got to stay tuned because I think we're going to take this thing to the next level. But, Chris, before we get out of here, man, please tell everybody where to find you, man.
Well, man, to be honest with you, man, it's not even about me today, man. Today is a special day to me because today is Mama A1's birthday. My mother, her birthday is today, man, and I just want to give her flowers here and just say, to look right into this camera and just say, Mom, thank you for everything that you've ever done for me. When people have turned their back on me, you never wavered at 1 minute. And honestly, I'm half of the man that I am because of you. And I really am proud of that. And I wouldn't choose no other woman to be my mother except you. If they gave me a choice, there is no one else that I would pick on this earth other than you, because you've always had my back. You've always believed in me. And I just want to say thank you so very much for being the Black woman that you are, the queen that you are, the backbone that you are, and just continue to just be a great person inside and out. And I'm not just saying that just because you're my mother. I mean, I've grown up, I've since seen so much about you, and just happy birthday, Mama, and I really love you so very, very much. And I'm going to continue to strive to be the best person that I can be, not only for myself, but for you, and of course for Pops. So thank you, guys, for that. And yeah, man, hey, man, I love my mom, man. I can never repay her, man. I can give my mom $10 million and I still feel like I owe her. So
yeah, still coming
man.
up short.
Yeah, man, I'm majorly short. So yeah, man. But outside of that, man, come on over to A1 Forever Sports on YouTube, man. Also Twitter, A1 Forever. Same thing for Instagram, and on TikTok, the real A1 Forever. Y'all come on by, man. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, have a conversation with me, man. Stop by, just say, hey, what's up, A1? Just passing through, whatever it is, man. But and please continue to like, comment, and subscribe on the material for not only A1 Forever, but for 95 North, for Smitty Sports Machine, and also for the 95 North Falcons Talk Show with our brother Berto, man. So I appreciate everybody, man. Appreciate everybody.
No doubt. And speaking of birthdays, man, my beautiful wife, Natasha, her birthday was yesterday. So she got a year older, and them bones aching just like mine. I'm just kidding. But it's all fun and laughs, man. We had a great time yesterday at dinner. So happy birthday to my beautiful wife, Miss Smith. Just had an anniversary as well. I got caught up in that computer glitch, so I had to stay in St. Lucia for 2 extra days. But it was well worth it. 20th anniversary trip, and it was all that and more. So she's been the driving force in my life for 20 years and had my back, just like you say, Mama. When you find a good thing, man, keep it. And when you find the right woman in today's society with the way the dating pool being pissed on, hey, you better keep what you got at the crib, because at the end of the day, that's all you're going to have, man. But y'all know where to find me, man. Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube, on Twitter at FatBoySlim_21, on Facebook at Antoine Smitty Smith. And there's people watching from Facebook right now. But again, man, another great show. Mr. Bob Rathbun came through, just like he said. He always keeps his word. And hey, Atlanta Hawks 2024-25 season, I think it's going to be a big surprise for a lot of fans because they made some moves that make me think that this team is going in a upward drive because if they can stay healthy, they can be at least a fifth seed in the East. But for my boy Chris Tipmore, this your boy Antoine Smith saying we'll see y'all soon on the 95 North Sports Machine because guess what? We everywhere and we up through there like underwear. But
gonna put some fire under their ass.
Man, don't you know? But we'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.